Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator, actively alienating everyone, in both the analog and digital world. Well, welcome and good evening, wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8. Last time in the Joe Rogan experience, we got DMT'd. Going to college, having a girlfriend? You don't know why you want any of it, do you? So I'm simply giving you the time to figure it out. I wasn't expecting you to drink the whole damn glass, though. Oh well. At least the tea is more diluted now. So just relax and trust the chemicals. It's better that way. I'll be here the whole time, so don't worry. I can feel the solar rays from Judith's hands begin to broil my skin. The way she strokes my hair, it burns. It's burning through my skull. Shh, shh. Go back to sleep, love pup. Don't call me that. Don't act like I want this. I didn't want this. I didn't want you don't. That's not true. And even if it was, it's okay if you don't want it. What you did for Violet, how you always tried so desperately to lift her up, even if it didn't always look like it, that was a kindness, was it not? And this will be no different. You'll feel so much better after you wake up. I promise. So just relax, Olive Oil. Relax, and think about what you really want. Every appearing character is an adult, but they didn't end up mattering much. I still have no idea what I'm doing. Dear the Pen Sword, I think your first attempts at games were good. What do you mean after story? We didn't finish the normal game. okay. I like being able to see the original artwork. But yeah, they cropped it to try to make it seem like we're seeing it from his point of view. But I like being able to see this artwork too. But in terms of the gameplay, I think they made the right choice. Okay. Finally. College. The next chapter of my adult life. After all this time, it finally started. Alright, that's the last of my stuff. We're both unpacked now, right? Still have a box or two, but it's fine. You sure about that? You tend to put these kind of things off for a real long time. Like, really, really long time. Oh, well, I guess I'll have to make sure you're properly motivated then. How about one humiliating painting of you each day you're still unpacked? How does that sound? Okay, I'll pack tonight for sure. What do you mean +1? How would you do that? You would do well to avoid evoking my wrath. Violet reaches in her back pocket, pulls out a cell phone. Just got word from Judy. Turns out the cafeteria is open. Kinda strange it would be, though, considering classes hadn't even started yet. Looks like we get to see what the food is like earlier than expected. What a treat. Violet grabs my hand and pulls me toward her. Let's go then. With any luck, we'll be able to get there before things get super crowded. I'm just gonna take a sip of my 7-Up and... Your hands are extra soft today. My hands? Violet looks down at her tangled fingers. Shit. Sorry, I forgot that wasn't allowed anymore. Violet's hand melts away from mine and hangs neatly at her side. My bad. Anyways, we should get walking. I'm pretty sure the cafeteria is this way. At the base of a rather steep hill sits the cafeteria, and at the entrance of that cafeteria... And so the dynamic duo has finally made their appearance. You guys sure took your sweet time. Don't get on them for that, kiddo. You spent like 5 minutes picking out what you were going to wear today, so you're hardly one to talk. They're not just hats, Andy. They're snapbacks. Snapbacks, get it right. Is calling that supposed to make you feel manly or something? If it covers your hair and shades your face, that, plain and simple. Please, you two, there's no need to be pedantic. I seriously feel like I'm being ganged up on right now. What? No, not at all. If we had enough time to wait for them out there, then clearly your affinity for headwear was never much of an obstacle in the first place. Besides, I think the name is super cool. Sis is just a big fan of monosyllabic words. Rude. See? Still, I do wonder, what is the etymology of snapback anyway? The what now? Sorry, what I mean to say is, why are they called that? I mean, a snapback is just a flat bill that has snaps in the back instead of being flex fit. Can we stop talking about fucking hats now? My friends, they all managed to make it here. God, I miss this. Miss this so much. It's good to see you guys. Just like that, they're all pulled back together. Same goes for you, Captain. Agreed. Petty squabbling aside, the truth is that we're all thrilled to see you. I'm waiting for the other fucking shoe to drop. Now the whole crew's back together, will be as unstoppable as ever. Absolutely, the place better watch out. By the end of freshman year, there won't be a soul on campus who doesn't know our names. And that goes for all of us. No matter what happens here, we won't neglect each other anymore. Judith extends her hand outward as a clear peace offering. Is that okay with you, Violet? There's a heavy tension in the air. Let's wait for Violet's response. Her face is still at first, as smooth as unchanging as a slab of clean-cut marble. Eventually, though, her face sculpts itself into a wry smile. So, if it takes the 6 of us to make that happen, then is that what you're getting at? Of course. We're not the Midnight Guard without you. Violet, I'm sorry for not acknowledging that sooner. Don't worry about it. It's not like it really matters at this point. Okay, are we going back to the Persona game where we're talking about the alternate dimension stuff that may or may not actually exist? Because we aren't the Midnight Guard anymore. Violet grabs Judith and pulls her into a tight embrace. Now that we're here, we can be what we've always been. There are no heroes here, Judy. There's just us. Just us friends. Just the people who love each other. Okay, you're just hugging. I thought, we're adults now. None of us have time for resentment. It was always such a worthless emotion in a way I could never turn anything decent. Having said her piece, Violet tries to pull away from Judith. But Judith pulls Violet back into her, burying the side of her face into her friend's shoulder. It's not forever then, right? I was certain that you were going to be gone forever. Thank you for this. Thank you for forgiving me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Judith's words are punctuated with harsh, ugly sobs. This is it. One last chance to heal this shattered, broken body of ours. Still, even as this tiny, vulnerable part of us begins to heal, the bigger heart of the world beats on. As the rest of the freshmen begin to trickle into the cafeteria, the 4 of us simply observe, giving Violet and Judith all the time they need. Okay. The cafeteria is nearly as crowded as I thought it would be. Because of this, it doesn't take us long for me to load up a couple of plates and find a table for the 6 of us at. Okay, this is already a huge upgrade from our old cafeteria, right? Indeed. Unlike a public school, this place seems perfectly designed with the busy student in mind. Right? I could definitely get used to this. There is a very real chance it's only nice for the opening ceremonies, though. But I seriously hope that isn't the case. The salad bar alone is incredible. You're such a herbivore, Vi. Makes me wonder what it would take to get you to eat some meat for once. I don't like meat, you know that, Judy. Doesn't mean you don't want to try it, though, right? Judith picks up a chicken wing from her plate and waves it around like a handkerchief. Aren't you curious? It's yummy. Yeah, no. Anyways, we're missing someone, right? Has anyone seen Ash? No way you guys have chicken fried steak. Hell yeah. Is there a limit? Give me 7. Still getting his food, it seems. It takes a few more seconds for Ash to make impact to the table. Alright, it's official. This place is godly. They legit have everything here. They even have country gravy. Country gravy is the best. Brown gravy is just generic, shittier gravy. Anyone who thinks it's better belongs in the garbage can. Who are you even talking to right now? What? You don't like gravy? You know that's basically meat juice, right? No thanks. Too fatty. Freaking weird, Andy. And you're on diet at the ripe age of 32 if you keep eating like that. Ashton shrugs and keeps cutting through one of the mini steaks. Guess I'll die then. Andy glares at Ash one last time before turning her attention towards the rest of the table. So, what's the game plan after this? Judy and I were planning on going to the city at some point, but if you guys had something else in mind, actually, considering the circumstances, there is something the 6 of us should probably discuss now that we're all fortunate enough to be here. Apple looks over to Violet and signals to her with a distinct nod. He's right. It's about how things are developing back home on the island. Oh? I've been wondering about that. Emil found another entrance into the underworld, right? One on the north side of the island. So what's the deal then? Are things still dead on that side too? Emil spins a thin cord of spaghetti around his fork and politely scarfs it down before responding. Not exactly. While the northern train station does have lockers similar to the ones back at school, the ecosystem in that part of the underworld is slightly different. You don't say. Different how? Traces of siren activity for starters. Saline-based residue leading up to the station, massive slates behind the help desk. All clear signs showing that the employees there are still have that part of their cognition intact. But that doesn't make any damn sense. We killed all the sirens, didn't we? You and I went on patrols for weeks. We didn't see shit. Indeed, I thought the same as well. Which is why Emma and I went the next day to scope out the employees. And get this, they were all completely normal. What's more, the two of them were absolutely terrible at their jobs. I took a look, the lady at the front desk, 20 minutes just to print out a ticket to Orlando. I even got yelled at for trying to buy something from an out-of-order vending machine. Okay, so... like, they actually yelled at me. It was beautiful, like stay in the rain after a year-long heat wave. Except the rain was just shitty customer service. Ash is right, nothing about this makes any sense. No, it's simple, though, Andy. We were skeptical too, so Emma and I started to chat up the employees a little bit, and you're never going to guess what we found out. They had muses? I mean, maybe. Don't know how we found something like that, though. We discovered the two of them residents mainland, actually. They didn't even live in Siren's Call, they just carpooled to work from Port Orange. But why does that matter? Because negativity spreads, Andy. Simply interacting with someone in a foul move has potential to make you feel quite awful yourself, does it not? Then, like an invasive species finding fertile ground, those feelings begin to take root. Normal people have what we call negativity and stuff anyways. It only needs to be cultivated by an outside source. So, some bad customer service or unwanted marks might be exactly what Siren's Call needs in order to recover. So you're saying we just need to treat people like crap whenever we go back there? No. I doubt anything like that would really come of that. Our sirens turned into muses. Our sirens turned into muses the moment we entered the underworld back in May. They're a different species entirely. Otherwise, the success would start acting all lovey-dovey about everything too, right? Exactly. Interacting with the town folks wouldn't accomplish anything. They would need to interact with people who deal with their negativity in a more traditional manner. So what are we supposed to do then? Nothing. What? We do nothing. Emma and I are pretty sure this is the kind of problem that'll work itself out eventually. Florida thrives on tourism. It's not like Siren's Call won't be exposed to waves of human negativity anyway. We just gotta wait for that particular big wave to hit and see if anything changes. I hate waiting. Aren't you two just spitballing here? Isn't there anything we can do right now? She has a point. This is nothing more than a theory, an incredibly optimistic one at that. You really think their sirens will just grow back? It's possible, no? There are already at least 2 sirens in town. So we know the undersoul is not irreversibly polluted by our actions. And like any ecosystem, there is a very real chance it can repair itself in time after being exposed to the proper elements. We simply have to make sure we don't make the same mistakes again. This is a chance to redeem ourselves. Right. Even if we all have to do is wait, at least there's not some hope. Townsfolk will be normal again. I guess that'll make going home for a winter break a bit more interesting, at least. Merry Christmas! Everyone's cranky again. I can't think of a better gift to give back to the people than their humanity. It was never ours to take away. Man, if Christmas doesn't do it, nothing will. Feels weird to be wishing for the holiday sadness to hit that hard, though. I now realize every environment needs its predators, even cognitive and emotional ones. The real problems only come when there are too many rabbits in the field or wolves in the thicket. We disrupted the balance once. Emil raises his glass. But never again. One by one, my friends raised their glasses. Look at all my friends. They're certainly not all dead or something. You said it, bro. Never again. Really hate waiting, but you're right. Never again. Never again. We'll make it up to them. All of them. Never, ever again, damn it. Why are you looking at me like that? Never again? After this new pact of ours has been forged, the rest of us lunch is filled with nothing more than pleasantries and good food. As the dregs of our little feast slide from the plate to the trash, we can all agree to play the rest of the day by ear and return to our respective dorms. And yet, despite our agreement to disperse, we all stay clustered together after making our way out of the cafeteria. It's only until we're all halfway up the hill to my dormitory that the truth becomes painfully obvious. Oh my goodness! We're all living in the same building this year, aren't we? That's weird. Aren't there like 3 freshman dorms? Oh ho! Upset you aren't going to be able to brood as easily anymore, Cupcake. I've turned Judith into Yoda. Brood? I don't brood. It's just easier for me to paint when I'm alone is all. Definitely broody type, some alone time. Why is she a cupcake? Oh, isn't that obvious? What? Judith hops up and aggressively slides the front of her t-shirt over Violet's head. Because she's always overdressed. Okay. Holy shit, Judy. Violet wiggles her head underneath Judith's clothes. Get off me, you freaking dairy cow. Okay. So a big boobies comment. Judith frees Violet from her fluffy cocoon. Jeez, you're as jumpy as ever, aren't you? What the heck, Judy? I almost suffocated in there. I really need to lay off the vanilla extract, by the way. It's not natural. Oh, don't act like you didn't love it, Cupcake. So, what floors you guys staying on? We're on the 2nd floor. It's room 203, the one next to common room. We're mostly unpacked. Emphasis on mostly. Someone has been playing air hockey in the common room all morning, so our room is still not fit for company, unfortunately. Not fit? Bro, all I gotta do is hang up the posters, we're done. I went hard unpacking last night. You don't gotta make it out like I'm some kind of slob. I didn't say you were a slob. But there are still some things we need to polish up on before we have visitors. It's not good enough yet. It's good enough for bad company. Oh, don't worry, boys. I'm sure a lot of us would find it plenty hospitable, right, Vi? Vi? Huh? Sorry, I guess I zoned out for a second. What were we talking about again? Don't listen to him. We're fine to have you guys come over anytime. Our door is always open. Right. What about you two? Were you able to get a room together like you were wanting to? I had yelled admonitions off the phone bid, but yeah, we got there. Someone's got to watch after this cream puff after all. Honestly, the whole call was super embarrassing. You never gave that poor lady a chance to talk back. Poor lady? Really? That poor lady was a bureaucrat, sis. Fuck bureaucrats. They only exist to make the world turn even slower. If I acted like a pushover, you'd probably be stuck with some gangly toenail eating creep right now. Even so, you could at least wait until we were outside of the restaurant to make the call. I'm pretty sure the waitress spat in my grits because of you. That's just how grits look, Judy. Besides, she'll be fine. I left a tip, didn't I? No, you didn't. Oh shit, really? Whoops. Well, we're at the end of what's left of the hallway in the 1st floor. Room 124, I think. Room 126. That's what I meant. You guys are good to swing by anytime. Just make sure to let us know before coming in, if that's okay. The group turns attention to me and Violet. Oh, we both got medical singles on the 1st floor. I'm in room 6, right past the elevator. And you, Captain? Room 7. Judith starts to giggle. Wow, you two sure are inseparable. It's honestly kind of adorable. But I'm confused. You guys broke up, right? Even if you're still friends and stuff, isn't living that so close kind of weird? Ash, for Christ's sakes, have some tact. What? I have a point. And you, of all people, telling me that is pretty damn rich, don't you think? Think very careful about the way you speak to people, Gravy Boy. Still, it does seem to be more than happenstance. There are plenty of other medical singles in the dorm, I'm sure. So for you two land right next to each other on a campus as large as this one. You're overthinking things. It's just coincidence. I'd believe that. Really? Of course, Emil. Think about it logically. They've been quite brazen about their affection in the past, yes? So, if they were still dating, they'd have no reason to keep something like that from us in the first place. College is about freedom. Now would be a funny time for them to be so meek and prudish about their love. So many money is on the happy little coincidence and nothing more. I suppose you might be right. Besides, it's none of our business anyway. They're adults now, they can do whatever they want, however they want. Judith fires a discreet wink in my direction before turning towards the rest of the group. Anyway, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm beat. Annie and I are going to town tomorrow to buy some stuff for our room, though. So if anybody would like to come, we'd be more than happy to take you along. Until then, I bid thee adieu. Judith waves goodbye and turns herself toward the stairs. I think I'm going to scope out the rest of the campus. Apparently, there's some really awesome trails that lead all the way to the mountains. If you follow them long enough. Oh, that's cool. Later, guys. Annie spins around and flings herself down a nearby hill. We should probably take our leave as well, considering our current workload. There is no workload. There are poster Emils. Posters. Aesthetics are everything. Emil and Ashton let their bickering carry them to the dorm, leaving Violet and me standing in the middle of the sidewalk. I need to wash my meds? Pack. Pack my meds. I need to pack my meds. Bye. Violet practically sprints away from me. A few seconds later, I hear the sound of a door slamming shut on the other side of the building. Still noticing the lack of helmet. And for the first time since we arrived, I am completely alone. Ellipses. Completely alone. Okay. I shove what I was working on back under my bed and answer the door. It's Judith, looking as bubbly and energetic as ever. Lucky me, you're still here. I figured you might be out exploring the campus or something, but I wanted to swing by here just in case. So, There's a stillness in her voice now, as if she's bracing herself for something painful. Do you mind if I come in? As long as you don't mind the mess. Messy? Oh, I've been in messier, I'm sure. At this point, I'm no stranger to Bedlam. Judith floats over to the bottom half of my bed. Her delicate hands wrap themselves into a tight little bundle in the space above her thighs. Like always, I somehow end up next to her. So, do you hate me? You have plenty of reason to, I'm sure. What's this about? Right. I'm being vague, aren't I? I'm sorry, I won't waste your time then. The truth is, I know I've been overbearing. Not just with you, but with everyone in our group. I thought Violet's choices had ended up threatening everyone's happiness. So I ignored them. I ignored her. But she had the right idea all along. Everyone's just fine now. Nobody needed my protection. Nobody needed my guidance. Nobody needed me to lift them up. Things simply worked out. It didn't even have anything to do with me. There was never any need for harsh words or swift action, and so I've decided to be more hands-off going forward. I just thought you should know that. What do you mean by hands-off? I mean allowing myself to accept things as they are. I used to think it was my responsibility to try and keep everybody safe and happy, but maybe that's not how it should be. Being sweet shouldn't be our job. Ideally, sweetness follows love, real, genuine love. So that's what I'll try to focus on. Which means allowing people I love to live how they need to. So, if I seem different lately, I want you to know it's not because I'm plotting anything. I'm just trying out something new. I want you to be able to do what you need to do, regardless if it involves me. Am I not allowed to pick that? Okay. Thank you. I just misclicked. I know it's not much, but you can at least rest easy knowing I won't interfere with your desires anymore. From now on, I'll try and respect what you and everyone else around you needs. Judah stands up and moves away from my bed. Anyways, that's all I really wanted to say. You've grown so much in such a short amount of time. I hope I'm lucky enough to end up seeing the person you'll eventually become. She begins making her way out the door. I'll see you soon, alright? See you soon. There was a lot of times she was saying see you soon in the early part of the game. And with that, Judith leaves, taking with her the last of my anxiety. So this is it. She's finally given me her blessing. If what she said is true, then surely there's nothing left for me to worry about. I drag what I was working on back out from under the bed and continue my labors. I'm starting to feel restless. Am I building like a model or something? Like a Gundam? What should I try to spend my time with tonight? Who? Granted, I don't know if this save file is going to get deleted, given the way this game works, but I assume there's separate scenes for each individual. But I'll pick Violet. But there's probably a different scene depending on who I choose. I made arrangements for Violet and I to have tea together later in the evening. Not sure what else we can do together other than drink, but I really don't feel like being alone right now. Hopefully this will be enough to keep her entertained. I guess the worst case scenario is we can probably find something online to watch together, but doesn't that mean one of us will be stuck sitting at my desk? This was probably a bad idea. I mean, we just broke up. I might be overstepping some boundaries here. No, I mean, it's fine to have her over as a friend. We just can't, try to do anything because, we're broken up. She did say yes to coming over, though, so it's not like she hates me or anything. No. There's no way to know if she really feels her now. I mean, it was her idea to break up. I'm not good at that anyway, clearly, so speculating is worthless. Also, I'm not sure if she's still alive. She might be dead. All I gotta do is relax, open the door, and enjoy myself. Simple as that. Simple as that. Oh. Wow. That is not something you wear coming over to be just friends. Then again, we were just given DMT, so... Then again, we were already in a delusion / not the real world to begin with, so we were already in Persona world, and then where we were already drugged, and then we were drugged in the drugged. Or it could just be that we initially got drugged and then it's just, it wound up, your dreams wound up being about the stuff that led up to, which would include, just saying, none of this is real. That's nostalgic. I did say we're having tea, right? So how come she's wearing her old prom dress? It is a nice prom dress, but I'm pretty sure most schools would have never allowed such a thing. You look amazing, Vi. Oh, thank you. But more important, do I look mature? What do you mean? Well, we're in college now. I should try to look more mature when I honestly don't know if that would be something to wear. I mean, wouldn't that be too fancy, I guess? And I always wanted to dress up for tea parties. Oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. So I figured to dust off the old gown and swing by. Is it too much? Yes, it is. But I'm okay with it. Am I overdressed? Yes.
Yes, you are. But again, I'm okay with it. Alright, so this is Violet's idea of mature. Cool. She's almost too adorable for words. It kind of reminds me of Squall talking about being an adult in Final Fantasy VIII. This bodes well for my psyche. Does it? It's fine. Just be normal, be platonic. You're plenty mature already, though. There's always room for improvement.
It's like they say, an artist's work is never done. Violet flicks her wrist into the air, as if she's throwing confetti from a parade float. Shall we then? As she passes through the doorway, the hem of her dress brushes against my ankle. It's soft. Really soft. Looks much cleaner in here than it did this morning. Very nice. As Violet surveys my living quarters, I rush over to my desk and grab my room's sole. Grab the room's sole, college-mandated swivel chair. Oh, Olive, that's no fun, right? What are you? Where are you gonna sit? I could sit on the desk. No, that won't do at all. I've got an idea. You heat us some tea, I'll be right back. Violet kicks her heels off into a corner and shuffles out the door in her socks. Okay. Are you going to bring your chair from next door? Brilla finished pouring tea before she stumbles back in, her elegant form plastered of all manner of colorful blankets and pillows. There's so many of them that begin falling off her, and Violet dumps them into the cozy pile in the center of the room. There we go. Now we can just sit on the floor. Easy breezy. Violet lowers herself to the ground and begins sculpting the bedding into something more accommodating. That is what I just said. Does this still count as being mature? Maturity is a state of mind. I'm sure many grand historic conversations have begun with two people simply drinking on the floor together. Eschewing your pride like this is plenty mature, don't you think? Plus, with all these pillows, it is a bonus of being super comfortable too. Don't you want to be comfortable? Violet wedges a few more pillows up against the bed before sinking into them and completely like a pearl cushioning itself in the flesh of an oyster. It's an inviting display, to be sure. Why are you still so far away? Come on, I'm thirsty. Let's drink. I guess this is how it's got to be then. Not wanting to keep Violet waiting any longer, I lower myself into her cozy domain. But as I do, I notice something. Her bedroom? Yeah, the bed did kind of change. So we are teleported back into the past. And we are back in her house. Well, at this moment we have to wonder, exactly how dark is of the story are we going to go? I mean, we're not going full horror visual novel, but I'm expecting things to become scary. Like, what were we working on underneath our bed? Why is this suddenly her bed again? What is happening? Are we in the past? Are we back in Violet's house? Are we having a memory of Violet's house? Violet's old bedroom. Careful now, it's still hot. Am I hallucinating? What is happening? Am I hallucinating within my hallucination what is happening? Violet taking a brazen sip of her cup, tip of her lips, dowsing for flavor. It's amazing being able to watch her move so confidently again. Practically everything Violet does, she does without a trace of shame or regret. It doesn't matter if it's painting on the beach or drinking hot tea in the ocean of blankets. I could watch her move forever. I could be here forever. By the way, sorry I was acting so weird earlier today. You know I'm normally not like this, but it feels a little strange now that the six of us are all friendly with each other again. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad everything ended up working out, but I kind of forgot how embarrassing they can be sometimes. We also have to keep in mind that we're back in the version of things where we're talking about like Persona World, the Persona video games, which may not have actually happened and is all a delusion. So, I'm expecting when things shift back to understanding real world, it's going to be more scary than a Persona game about hell. That's probably just something I need to get reacquainted with, though. That, and how we're all living in the same building now. I'm glad you're so close, though. About that. It's not exactly a coincidence that we ended up living next to each other. The administrator also gave me my choice of a medical single, so I ended up picking up the one next to you. Sorry I didn't tell you earlier. We've talked about this before, but there are risks that come with someone like me living on my own. If I have a seizure, I don't want some stranger coming into my bedroom and seeing me like that. I will say this. While I wouldn't think less of someone if I were dating them and they had, seizures, I would be really worried about them, especially if there was someone I really cared about a lot. One, I would feel like, what should I do? Though at that point, I think I would have had time to, if we know about the person have epilepsy or stuff ahead of time, I would have probably researched it online, and so I know, like, okay, what should I do? But also, there's the issue of, it's not that you're thinking less of the person, it's that you're worried about them getting hurt, one, because you care about them, and two, because, well, your own emotional stake. They get hurt, you'll feel sad. I know that sounds selfish, but the main point is this. One, you care about their well-being for their sake, but you care about their well-being because, it emotionally means a lot to you. But, it's not like it's their whole identity, but it is something you have to be mindful of. It's just, it'd be the worry that, hey, there's this person you love very much. What happens if this gets worse and they die and you wind up losing the person you care about? And that in general, even no matter how prepared you can be, you probably feel a little bit helpless. If it's going to be anyone, then it needs to be you. I feel more than likely what occurred is that she didn't wear her helmet, and then she fell because they gave me a choice of a fucking beach or the parking lot, and I chose the beach, and they wouldn't let me choose the beach. I was forced to choose the parking lot. So, I'm assuming she didn't wear a helmet. I didn't force her on her because, one, I didn't want to tell her what to do, and two, I'm used to people telling me what to do, and I don't appreciate it myself, so I didn't want to treat her in a way that I don't appreciate other people treating me. And then she didn't wear a helmet, had a seizure, and then hit her head on the concrete of the asphalt or the sidewalk, and her head is split open, and currently Violet is dead. Violet is having a seizure, and she is dying, and her brains are spilling out of her skull, and she's dead. Violet is dead. You're the one I can trust my body when I'm like that, at least until I'm lucid. I assume we've, looked it up on the internet. It's 2011, the internet exists. There's probably guides for, what you're supposed to do. There's probably certain things you have to do so the person to, bite their tongue or hit their head or, break one of their bones. Throw a bunch of pillows around them. I know it seems selfish, but I feel so much safer whenever you're around. Violet looks my way, a foggy, somber look painting her eyes. I still want my own space, but I can't stand the thought of you not being there when I wake up. So living next to you was the best solution I could think of. But if it's too much, all you got to do is say so. After all, it's not like I wouldn't understand. Being there for you is never a burden. On the one hand, it's good to make saves, romance, and death. Reflection of the moon. Well, it doesn't bode well.
This doesn't sound like you. Huh? You deserve a sense of autonomy. You deserve to feel free. Yeah, you don't belong here, Violet. You belong somewhere you can sleep with the door closed all the way. You belong somewhere better. I bet that's why you always wanted to rocket away from this planet, isn't it?
I guess I should get going too. When he first visited Asheville. Visitors Week, not move-in week. May have looked like pillow as a gift. Check under the bed. The floorboards underneath my bed are sealed nice and tight. Excuse me, we didn't just put it under our bed, we had it under the floorboards under our bed? That seems a bit paranoid. Lift up the floorboards. It's okay. I think I get it now. Oh, this is our prom outfit. I was wondering if I'd ever get to see it. Looks nice. Let's just go and get ourselves out of here. Let him go. I drag my better half out from under the bed and wake him up. Yawn. Alright, I'm up. Are we actually doing this then? Great. This aside in the mountains was kind of starting to drag on anyway. Then again, maybe I'm only saying this because I've spent the whole time shoved under our bed like a pile of dirty laundry. Oh well, forgive and forget, right? You let me out, that's all that really matters. So let's go and finish this drawn-out monologue of ours. Finally. College, the next chapter of my adult life. After all this time, it's finally... No, not yet. It's not time. There's still someone else I need to talk to. That's the only way we're going to be able to do this right. Hey there, Slim Booty. You finally made it. I turn my left and see what I assume is the only other soul on the campus. Well, this is awkward. No, that's wrong. There's not a word in English language to describe what this is. My old prom outfit is something I kind of get, but for some reason there's a water cooler full of drinks on the ground next to him. The unoccupied lawn chair to his left, however, is a bit more understandable. What are you standing around for? Papa squat, it's still summer, technically. He reaches in the cooler, pulls out a long brown bottle, and dangles it in front of his face. I've got our favorite. Come on, day drinker. You know you wanna. It's a bottle of ginger beer, right? I mean, I do love ginger beer. Sure, why not? We've got time. Basically drinking some root beer. I shove across the lawn and plant myself in one of his chairs. Wow, you sure are easy. Lucky thing, I'm such a nice guy and only need to talk for a bit, right? He pops open 2 of the ginger beers and hands me the second one. Here, a peace offering. I'm sitting and drinking root beer with myself. We work better when we get along, right? I grab the bottle and take a cautious sip. The spicy ginger sends a shockwave up and down my throat, exciting my worn senses. So this is your dream college, huh? Nice. Very nice. All it's missing is a big old water slide. Maybe some churro stands near the dorms or a go-kart track. He takes a light, controlled sip of his beverage before looking back at me. Mini golf, perhaps? Don't forget the wave pool. Oh, naturally. Isn't it nice to be able to know for sure when someone else is joking? I'd say we should do this more, but that probably wouldn't bode too well for our psyche. He sets his drink down in the grass and leans back, turning his head towards the spotless blue sky. I get why you chose this place, though. It's great the world feels actually livable up here, but it's more than that. It's more about aesthetics or breathability. Here, everybody just loves us for some reason. Here, the people are pulled directly onto our lap. We have gravity. We have so much gravity that we're the center of the entire stinking universe, small as it may be. Here, people need us. My better half sloshes the liquid around in the bottle for a little bit. Don't go hating her too much, by the way. Not Mom and Dad. Hate them all you want, but Miss Lawrence... For all her pride and splendor, Miss Lawrence was probably fed the same plate of bullshit we were back when she was a kid. I'd bet money that at her core she wants things to be simple, just as badly as you do. So at least give her one last talk before you commit to making her the villain in all this. Because it means a lot to be a villain. You've got to be important. And if we're not important enough in all this, then she probably isn't either. Besides, you've already cleaned your brain of her once, right? You can do it again, no problem. So let's go rip off these last 2 bandages of ours and get back up here for real. He grabs his drink and finishes it all in one long, exacerbated gulp. We keep on falling off our board. We keep having to start over. We're torn between what we want and what we need. But as the leading authority on what we need, I say we need to get some sort of compromise. Right now, we don't need to be brave or strong or smart or kind. Right now, all we need is some balance. Let's be the kind of person Violet tried so hard to be. I'm pretty sure that's the only way we're going to be able to move forward at this point. I know. I love my friends. More than anything else, I want to be around them for as long as possible. Even so, he's right about one thing. I've always done what I had to in order to move forward. My friends needed to leave home to become their own people, to move on their own. And now it's my turn. He throws an now empty bottle of ginger beer over his shoulder and down the hill. All right then, no more delays. Let's get ourselves back to Florida. There's someone back home that needs a really good wake-up slap, if you know what I mean. The 2 of us shuffle down to the faculty parking lot. Eventually, I find a car with the doors unlocked, keys in the ignition, and an absurd number of snacks in the trunk. Paradise on 4 wheels. The ride through Asheville passes by in a blink of an eye. Just me, myself, and I. My better half keeps one hand on the steering wheel while using the other thumb through a stack of CDs. Why are we driving back anyway? He slides CDs back in the cup holder and glues both his hands to the wheel. What, you mean like instead of just zoning out for a second or two and then suddenly being back in Florida? I don't know. Probably because it gives you time to find your bearings. You're more fried than a damn catfish right now. Waking up in the middle of that isn't going to do us any favors. This is the kind of thing you're going to need to ease yourself out of. Plus, this gives us a bit of time to hash things out. What do you want to talk about then? Want? Sorry. But that's your department, not mine. I'm just here to drive this car and be a wall for you to bounce ideas off of. I may be the voice of reason here, but there's no way I'm more powerful than you are. If we end up chatting about something, well, then that's more of your will making it happen than anything else. Nothing can happen here that you don't actually want. After all, nothing. Isn't that why I'm lecturing you instead of Miss Lawrence? So you can start waking yourself up for a change? And isn't that why you gave Violet her own room back there? Or why you tried bringing everyone back together again? Wasn't their happiness something you wanted? Because if it was, then there's no way you're that kind of person we've all read about. Otherwise, things wouldn't have gone the way they did, right? You're wrong, I'm a bad person. Don't you think that blaming yourself for everything that happens is just as childish as blaming yourself for nothing at all? We're not important enough for everything to be our fault. Believe me, I wish we were, but we're not. And that's the last time I'm going to tell you that. Because if I know it, then you definitely know it. So there. My better half starts scratching the side of the steering wheel. You had one hell of an extinction burst back there, though. Seriously, as well as meaning as it might have been, that place was like something out of a crappy teen novel. I doubt Annie and Ashton could ever get into a college that snooty. I love those knuckleheads, but that part in particular was kind of a stretch, even for you. Ammo would have been able to, but I think he's smart enough to know the risks of hanging on like that. And Judy, well, even if she knows better, I'm pretty sure she's never going to leave home. Not at this point. She'll live when she needs to. I hope so. She can be so much more than a domestic goddess. He loosens his grip a bit on the steering wheel. But I guess that's not something I should really have a say in. It'd be pretty hypocritical for me to try and think for her like that, all things considered. She'll do what she needs to do. She's the only one who knows what that is, after all. I hope. Not much longer now, it seems. I guess you're warming up to me quicker than expected. Still think you're kind of a dick. Guess so. He nods. Just don't shoot us back to college last minute, okay? I'd really hate to have do this all over again. I just hate delaying the inevitable is all. Out of all the lies you ever told me, that might be the best one yet. But at least you know this stuff is inevitable. So, that bodes well for us, I suppose. Alright, let's get this over with. God, I hate this town. Always loved this house, though. Never felt like an outsider here. Never needed to be cured or converted. We could just be. He sulks away from the car and up to Judith's porch. Can't keep hugging that pillow forever, though. Nobody's home to greet us, so we start slowly making our ways toward the bedrooms. In the back of In the black of Judah's bedroom, I make out the thin silhouette of our diplomat, resting in Andy's old bed. We stand at opposite sides of the mattress and stare blankly at each other. This entire shopping cart's worth of weird right here. So now what? Do we just dive into him or something? Is that how this works? Please tell me you don't have to kiss him awake. Wasn't the plan to give him a wake-up slap? I was mostly joking around with that. But sure, if you think it'll work. I'm game. We should do it all at the same time, though. Just in case that's something that actually matters down the line, you know? I nodded and raised my right hand in the air. It's a shame that we had to endure an entire summer of stupid-ass heroics. I didn't even get to say goodbye to Violet. Makes this whole damn charade seem kind of meaningless, doesn't it? We'll say goodbye to her when we wake up. Oh. Right! Obviously! Here's to waking up, then. My better half raises his left hand and gives me a reassuring thumbs up. Well, I'll go on 3, okay? Like, immediately after I say 3. Not like before I say it, you know. So on 1, 2, 3, you know what I mean. I give him a reassuring thumbs up, tighten the muscles of the left hand. Okay, right then. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Back in. Experience Judah's hospitality to complete Category 5, Sun and Moon. Where was I, anyway? Why is my mouth so dry? How long has it been? How long have I been here? Can I move? It feels like my body's the bottom of some deep, watery crevasse. Should I try to move? Maybe just moving my head will be enough? I'm in Judith's room. Judith, we met at church. She was wearing a yellow sundress and a matching polka dot bow. Even though she tried really hard, she couldn't sing to save her life, and I thought that was cute. She said the lemonade at the reception was bitter and the cookies were stiff. She's my best friend. We've known each other forever. Okay, so I'm in Judith's room. I fell asleep here, but how long ago was that? No, don't think about time. Think about the simple things, right? Who am I, then? I'm Oliver, right? I'm Oliver. My middle name is Earl. Wait, no it's not. It's Ernest? It's something that starts with an E. Edward, maybe? Whatever. Is that enough to try moving my fingers? I can move them. Good. I'm alive then. I must be. This blanket feels weird, though. I feel like I haven't touched something like this in months. I need to get away from it. I need water. My throat's so dry, it doesn't even feel like it belongs to me. It's just cracked brick of earth, severing my brain from my chest. I flick off Andy's white noise machine and hobble over to a door on the far side of the bedroom. Judith's bathroom. I got this much right, so that means I'm starting to orient myself better. I cup my hands under the sink and let the clean, crisp water fill my hands before funneling it down my throat. But I don't feel anything. My throat is so numb and arid that it's almost like I'm pouring liquid into... I need to drink more, then. I need to drink more. Some kind of void. After what feels like hours, the bridge between my body and my mind can be felt again. I can turn off the faucet and find my way over to the toilet. Some cruel gravity forces me onto my knees as invisible hands pry open my mouth. Vomit shoots out of my throat and drips maliciously from the tip of my nose. This purge of mine is dizzying and endless. If there was a cure inside me, it'll most certainly be gone by the end of this. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Dad. I turn my body into an ocean of filth and synthetics. But soon that too will be flushed into the Atlantic. Then all that will be left is a dry, wanting basin. My ocean will be drained and I will once again be empty. What will fill me then? What else will my inept mind continued to reject. I vomit over and over again. Everything being rejected, everything being purged. This does kind of remind me. It's been about 3 years ago. I made a video that was like 13 and a half hours long. YouTube didn't want me to upload it because it's over 12 hours, and apparently you're not allowed to upload something over 12 hours. I re-recorded a part of it, played the video and let OBS re-record it. One where I recorded like a few minute long video about the Scat Man, and a 17-minute part where it's like where I was doing some of the Bendy song. But most of it, I couldn't bring myself to re-record. I mean, granted, I've cried / laughed simultaneously before, but all of that was fairly lighthearted. In that video, that was not lighthearted at all. I cried for hours and hours and hours while laughing and crying at screaming volumes until my body just couldn't handle the stress anymore. I guess human bodies only handle a certain amount of stress, and I just started vomiting and shaking and not feeling the best. I didn't re-record it not because I was concerned about how cringy it was, or because I was concerned about what people would think about me. I don't care about either of those. I didn't re-record the parts where I was screaming and crying and laughing and vomiting because it made me feel sad re-listening to that. I mean, I'm okay, it's just... I guess I was just really upset about a lot of things. I mean, we all are, right? Everyone out there has things in their mind. And of course, there's always stuff that's still bothering me. But you learn to deal with it. And heck, if anything, that's one thing I try to encourage people. Like, I can't sing, but I enjoy singing. And I want to encourage people, hey, it's good to express yourself. I mean, as long as you're not hurting yourself or anyone else. And sometimes it's good to be able to talk about your feelings. Especially if there's stuff that's really bothering you. But yeah. That one video, I was so emotionally upset and cried and screamed and laughed for hours and hours and hours. I was crying so hard for hours and hours and hours, to the point that my body freaked out from the stress. I started vomiting and shaking, and that didn't feel pleasant. I'd rather never do that again. I guess there's a limit to how much stress is healthy. Pills won't work, drugs won't work. What cure is there that my body will accept? What can I fill myself with that will make them happy? There's nothing left for me to vomit. Once again, I am empty. I couldn't even do this right, could I? I should have gone to the ocean. The ocean would have done it for sure. Did we? I watch as my failed experiment spirals down the toilet, with the liquid remains of 1,000 dead goldfish. The weakened bridge of my throat stings with bile and misuse. I try my best to push one last thing across its aching frame. Help. Somebody help me. I need to leave. Oh, Max? What do you mean, Max? A feeling of overwhelming lucidity surges through my brain. I pull myself off the floor and turn the faucet. Water. I need water.
I appreciate this, developers of game. I was worried I was going to be penalized or penalized, or however you want to pronounce it, for using. I'm glad I had enough points to use the notice something was off and the other thing. I wonder if people want me to go back at some point to, hang out with Judith or my friends, or, not notice something's odd. There's nothing water cannot clean. There's nothing water cannot fill. I force myself to drink even though it stings. I drink and drink until strings of vomit and blood begin collecting in the sink. Clean. I need to be clean. Oliver! I feel a presence behind me as I drink, but my mouth still stings and my words are still clumsy, so I keep drinking. Nobody should hear me like this. Nobody should see me like this. Oliver, stop it. You're hurting yourself. Wait, did you vomit? Oh, God. A pair of soft hands press themselves against the skin of my back. Normally, I would hate being touched without warning like that. But these aren't the kinds of hands that burn. Not anymore. I wonder why that is. It's okay. I'm here. You're awake now. Whatever you were dreaming about wasn't real. You're safe now. You're safe. She moves her hands up to my shoulder and begins rubbing them. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. I'm safe. Yes, I'm safe. I'm home. But we all need to leave home eventually, don't we? I do my best to make sure Oliver is comfortable and begin fixing him some anti-nausea tea. This isn't the first time he started the day vomiting, but back in June, it only took him a couple minutes before he was up and talking again. But he's been on that couch for 30 minutes now, as silent and scared as the day I met him. I learned early on not to just call people over whenever something bad happens, but he won't even write anything down in his journal. Maybe I'm being too patient here? Maybe this is different. No, he's got a rough enough day ahead of him already. Last thing he needs is loud noises and strangers on top of everything else. His vitals are fine. It was only a nightmare, I'm sure of it. Still, if this was really just another nightmare, then it has to be the worst one yet. Oh, Olive. I wish there was an easy solution here. I wish it was as simple as hugging you. Before, I would give anything to have 3 months alone with you. And yet, in the end, all I could do make with that time was a summer of empty gestures and anemic remedies. Remember, the prequel to this game is Sunflower Pie. And I assume we would have went down a different path if we had just accepted the Violet path or Judith in college or friends. Maybe in different endings. This is probably along the lines of the whatever would be considered a true ending. I suppose the question is, no matter what ending we get, do you guys want to see the others? Even if no one responds, I'll eventually get to it. The only difference that would come of anyone saying in the comments they want to see the other endings is I would do it sooner. But yeah, at the end of Sunflower Pie, we wound up saying that we were just going to live at the beach for a few days, or if not the whole months, and basically be homeless for a few months. We had turned down Judith's offer to come live at her house when we suddenly had to, well, you guys know the
sunflower pie. That being said, in the delusion that was this entire game, we imagined that we spent a few months living at Violet's house. But it would seem that that never happened to begin with, that none of that was ever real. I guess it's never really that simple, is it? But I'll keep trying until I physically can't anymore. I'll keep trying. That's what Andy would do after all. I place Olive's cup on the coffee table and sit what I think is a comfortable distance away from him on the couch. Drink it when you're ready, no pressure. It's ginger tea. It's supposed to help with nausea. It's not as sweet as ginger beer or sweet tea, but it does a much better job of warming you up. I promise. He curls into his bathrobe like a snail, eyeing the rivulets of steam as they dance up from his cup. You don't even have to talk if you can't right now. If you want something, I can get some paper and you can write it down for me. I'm here for you if you need me, Olive. If you want me to be, that is. They say you need to whistle to a snail in order to get it to come out of its snail shell. Olive's not like that, though. The only way for me to know what he wants is to ask him directly. Some days it's company. Some days it's solitude. I mean, I can understand that. But the days he would come out to me on his own were always the most exciting. When he'd come on over, unannounced, just to see what I was working on, or to read me one of his new poems. Those were the days where he seemed truly comfortable with the world, like he never even had a shell to begin with. Those were the days where nothing was expected from either of us. It was a rare feeling, a lovely feeling. But if today isn't one of those days, then so be it. I'll be as patient as I have to be. Oh, what day is it? The day? Oh no. It's fine, it's fine. He's just trying to orient himself after a bad dream. Don't panic. It's August 13th. Why? Are you worried that you missed your train? Is that what this is about? My train? He goes quiet again and starts playing with the fabric of his robe. When was the last time we talked to each other? When? I don't know the exact time, but it was right before you went to bed. I asked you what you wanted for breakfast, but you told me not to worry about it. Then I think you took some melatonin and went to sleep. Why is he asking me this? Did something happen before you went to bed? Is that why you woke up sick? His left hand slides away from his lap and grips the cup of tea I poured for him. He pulls the drink to his face and stares at it, dividing for something well beyond my understanding with those strong, dismantling eyes of his. He closes his eyes and takes a small sip. Then, with more vigor than I have seen from him in months, he chugs the rest of it like some sort of foul medicine. Perfect as always. He places the empty cup next to me on the table and falls back into the couch. God, I'm such an idiot. Huh? You really are amazing, Judith. In all my life, I've never met anybody quite like you. So, how much of a jackass would I have to be to keep confusing my best friend for something else entirely? I'm not sure I understand. You've never really done anything to make me distrust you. Hell, for our entire friendship, you've only ever treated me well. I'm just sorry I wasn't able to return the favor. Why are you talking about yourself like this? There's nothing to return. You don't owe me anything. We both know that's not true. I fight the urge to start picking at my fingers. Instead, I take a deep breath and turn my attention back to him. Olive, what's this about? I don't care if it's embarrassing or scary. I won't judge you. You're safe here. You'll always be safe here. So please, talk to me. Oliver begins scratching the back of his head. He turns his eyes away from me and stares out the window. Even though he was so quiet before, this new silence of his is heavy and foreign. It's starting then, isn't it? He's beginning to piece it together. He finally knows what kind of person I am. He's going to leave. Are you mad at me, Oliver? He returns a sad smile, painting his calm face. Something tells me I'd be an even bigger idiot if I was mad at you. No, I'm just anxious, I think. Could it be pre-college jitters, then? Maybe you had a nightmare about showing up to your first lecture naked or something. Most people don't remember their dreams completely after they wake up, so that would make sense, right? College? Oliver jolts up. Oh shit. Oh shit, it's the 13th. I'm supposed to be in Orlando right now. Judy, I'm gonna miss my flight. Your flight? Yeah, quick, give me your phone. I've got to call Violet. Her and Miss Lawrence were supposed to cart me over to the hotel last night. Violet? Oh. Wow. Oh wow, Oliver. I know, but it's fine. I'm almost positive my flight's in the afternoon. If we leave now, I should be able to swing by their place and say goodbye to her. I know it's a pain, but do you mind? Do you mind driving me over to her house? I throw my arms around Olive. I throw my arms around Olive and start rubbing the back of his head. Given my track record with him these past 3 months, this proximity is assuredly more of a comfort to me than anyone else. But I don't care right now. This is going to be hard either way. Might as well embrace it. I see. So, that's what's going on. You didn't have a nightmare at all, did you? You had a dream, a really, really lovely dream. Damn it, I'm crying now. I'm sorry, Olive. I'm sorry I couldn't make your last day here a happy one. Judy? What are you talking about? I only came over to say goodbye to you, and now I've got to go and say goodbye to Violet. So can we... I feel something wet run down the side of his soft, cold face. Can we do that, please? Oliver? I pull away and force myself to look into his eyes. Oliver? Yeah, I thought so. Violet's dead. She had a seizure back when we were rehearsing for graduation. She was watching a rocket. They say the light from it set something off in her head. We were all lined up by last name. None of us were close enough to her, and she hit her head on the pavement. Nobody around her knew what was happening, and she hit her head on the pavement. We spoke at her funeral. She doesn't live here anymore. It's just us. We're all that's left. We're all that's left. I know. Of course I know, it's just... I just was hoping I was still asleep. I guess it's wake-up time, isn't it? Oliver flings his legs over the front side of the couch and stands up. Well, I mean, I did kind of guess it. Do you mind if I show you what I've been working on? I think it'd be easier that way for both of us. He crouched down next to Andy's bed and fishes something out from under it. It's a journal, a purple one, with a green, lacy bookmark sticking out from the bottom. You knew that Emil and I were supposed to write a book together over the summer, right? I remember him mentioning it a few times. Well, he was really adamant about making it happen. He spent a bunch of free time last semester world building for it. He sent me notes, lots of them. By the end of March, I had 9 journals full of nothing but his ideas. I'd get so many that I half expected them to be falling out of the trees way home to school, wedged in the cracks of the sidewalk. He said that working on fiction would be a good change of pace for me. Said that collaborating with someone else could be useful for him as well. I think he knew that I only really wrote poetry to try and understand how other people felt. He called it utilitarian, soulless work. Yep, that sounds like Emil. He meant well, though. I guess the idea was that working on something goofy together would lighten me up a bit. I think, in his own way, he was trying to help me out, to help me see the value in fiction. But then Violet died, and everybody dispersed. Like geese in flight. I didn't understand at first why were we the only ones that stayed in town. Ash, Andy, hell, even Emil. I thought they were abandoning her memory. I thought they were being selfish. So I didn't say goodbye to them either. But they were her friends too. Maybe I'm not the only one who had this town polluted by her death. That's why I stayed in here all summer. I didn't want to see all those places littered with tourists and snowbirds. I didn't want to see Siren's Call pretending to be alive and colorful when it wasn't anymore. The beach, Flagler, the school, I don't think I could have handled any of it. It wasn't what I was used to. It wasn't what I knew. It was inconsistent. Everything was inconsistent, and maybe none of them could handle it either. But after Violet's funeral, I couldn't put any of that into words, not really. Other than you, there was no one left to write for. No souls for my soulless work. I didn't want to burden you more than I already had by staying here, so even though I'd be doing it alone, I got started on the book. He sits down at Andy's bed and offers me the journal, avoiding my eyes in the process. I won't look down on you for what you've written in if that's what you're worried about. It's not. I take the journal and sit what I assume is a safe distance away from him on the bed. It's a sizable book, and yet every page I see is packed with words. My apologies, I had to blow my nose. There's so much of it. What can I say? Your room was the ideal work environment. Unlike my parents' house, I never had to worry about you trying to shove me out the door so I could have a life. You let me be, and so I was able to work in peace. So thank you for that. Oh, you don't need to thank me. I just figured since we had a spare bed now, I might as well... Spending summer with your parents after all this wouldn't make sense. That's not all it was, Judy. You're not like him or the others, even though she died. Siren's Call is still beautiful to you somehow. You just wanted to sleep in the same room with him. You wanted to hear his soft, gentle breath as you fell asleep. You wanted to be there, lying in wait for something that would never actually happen. So you enabled him. You locked him away in this room for an entire summer. You took advantage of his crestfallen state for one last chance to bleed him dry. It's good he's leaving today. Because at this point, I'm nothing but a leech. A fucking parasite. Can you thumb me through the journal? I'll save you some time. The characters find a locker in their high school that leads to the town's collective unconscious. Most of the book is them exploring the place, killing whatever they don't like, and curing the minds of the people who live back above as a result. I didn't want to think like I normally did when writing it. I wanted to be like Violet whenever she paints. I wanted to give myself to the work. But I had a deadline. I had to get this done before the summer was over, just like how Emil and I had planned. I didn't have the time to be meticulous or thoughtful, so I just went for it. Much like the characters in the story, I never really had to think. I was so unlike writing poetry, it was exhilarating. I do like the stuffed animals. How does it end? That's the problem. Oliver grabs the backpack and empties it on the bed. 3 more journals of equally impressive size slide out onto the blankets. Those are my attempts at ending this. Don't bother looking through them, they're all garbage. Sure, some make sense in context, but none of them are honest. Nobody is wrong, nobody gets punished, nobody of note dies. These kids fuck around, change the people in the town forever, and nothing happens to them. There aren't any consequences. It's just not real. It's not what Violet went through. None of it is. After 3 weeks of writing different variations of what was essentially the same ending, I started to ask myself if this was really the kind of story I wanted to tell. But of course, it's what I wanted. What other story could be born of someone so powerless to change anything in their own damn life? Even if that was what I wanted to write, though, it wasn't what I needed. If I wanted to keep living, I needed to know how I felt. If you wanted to keep living, Oliver leans over to his pillow. And pulls another journal out from under it. So I tried one last time to end this properly. Olive? What is that? A strange mixture of concern and rage blends with my words. But he just places the journal on my lap and looks away from me. That's my personal journal. There are some notes from Emil about the book and stuff, but I mostly used it to try and collect my thoughts. My last entry was on page 62. Read it, please. By the way, do I have the earlier entries? I can't just pick journal over here anymore. Still feel I missed a couple pages. Probably would have, because there were 3 pages left. Though I think it only went to 61, didn't it? No, 60, 61. I feel my heart shiver a little on that last word of his. Read it, please. I can't pick journal over here. I should make a save anyway, even though all my saves are probably, yep. Tropical depression. This dread, this familiar dryness in my mouth. It's the same way I felt when I saw what happened to Violet. Am I about to have this happen a second time? August 12th. I hate this town. A few miles south of us at the Cape, men and women better than I'll ever be started riding rockets into space. Space, quite literally the deadliest environment imaginable, is still more enticing than anything Florida had to offer. They shot themselves into the hungry, thoughtless sky, with only the thin string of human genius to guide them to their destination. But for me, there was never any hope of reaching escape velocity. The familiar rumble of empty fuel tanks slamming into the ocean, the amber glow of jet fuel burning against the violet pink of a perfect tropical sky. I grew to hate all of it. Every launch grounded me more and more into the fetid Florida muck, because all I could do in this town was watch better people leave. Because being autistic makes you more like rocket fuel than an actual rocket. If you do, well, if you pass as their hero, then yeah, parents and scholars might talk about how bright you can burn. You might be able to humor them, crack some jokes, make some friends, specialize in something that can be flipped into a career. But at the end of that day, you only exist to make them look good, to validate the efficiency of their social programs and assimilation techniques. The best you can hope for is to shoot someone better than you into the sky and then fall back into the cold, heartless ocean where you belong. But I couldn't even do that right. And if you can't even do that, well, then you're defective. You're volatile. You're as dumb as rocket fuel, but even rocket fuel has a purpose. It just needs to do as it's told. So down I go. I want to say, I can't believe what I just read. But nothing about this surprises me. Oliver, I want you to tell me what this is. I need to hear it from you, from your mouth. It's how I felt before going to bed last night, and a contingency plan in case I didn't wake up. So that even if I couldn't finish the book, there would still be some sort of ending to all this. Why the hell wouldn't you wake up? I don't take melatonin, Judith, not anymore. It gives me nightmares. But my mom recommended plenty of things in the past to help me shut my brain off. So I went to Miss Lawrence, said I was picking up some of the usual stuff for her, and gave myself a little nap. That doesn't answer my question. Why wouldn't you have woken up, Oliver? I didn't know or care what was going to happen after I took it. So I covered my bases by scribbling up that last journal entry, I guess. I figured it was my last chance to find out how I really felt about all this. I can feel the bubble of my voice begin to pop as I push these next words from my throat. Why didn't you tell me you felt this way? Why didn't you tell me you were depressed? Because I didn't know. How the hell could you not know? Well, it's not like there's anything else in my life I could compare this to. Were you trying to kill yourself, yes or no? I didn't try to do anything. I already told you. I didn't care what was going to happen. How could I care? There's nothing I can offer you anymore that makes me worth having around. I failed Violet, I failed finishing that shitty book of mine, and now I'm failing you. Do you want to know a secret? On that form you gave us back in March, I voted to have a rehearsal at the school. When you posted the results in the auditorium, it said that we were only one vote away from having it at the beach instead. One vote. That's all it would have taken. If we had gone to the beach, there would have been nothing hard for Violet to hit her head on. I should have been thinking about her when I made that choice. I should have been thinking about keeping her safe. But I wasn't thinking. And now she's stuck here forever. I couldn't even do one thing I was supposed to do from the start. I couldn't lift her up. So what good am I? There's clearly nothing more valuable left in me. If I woke up, then whatever. It's not like I was expecting any of my parents' bullshit to actually work. But this body of mine was nothing worth caring about in the first place. And now we're here. And you're crying again. I don't know why I've made you waste so much time on me. I even took away your last summer vacation just because I don't want to be alone again. You did so much trying to make me happy. I can only imagine the kind of life you would have had if you never met me. So I need to leave. I need to make sure I don't take from you any more than I already have. It doesn't matter how I do that. It doesn't really matter if I live or die. All that matters is I don't let my selfish choices steal away anyone else's future ever again. Is that really something worth being upset about? This is really happening then? I thought it was all in my head, and even then I thought he was only sad because he missed Violet. I didn't know it ran this deep. I didn't know he blamed himself. No, maybe I did. Maybe this was just tricking myself into thinking a little space was all he needed. Maybe I thought I could make this better for him somehow. But I'm powerless. I couldn't even do anything to make him see what I see. I can't fight this. I know I can't fight this. Even so, I wiped the tears from my eyes. Can I show you something, Oliver? Something that might make you feel a little better. After I do, you never have to talk to me again if you don't want to. Why even bother? I'm not worth your time. I have never been worth your time. I just want you to understand me. I want you to understand what I think about all this. I want us to understand each other, and it's the only way I'm going to be satisfied with myself in the end. So let me show you something I'm not supposed to show you. I move over to my desk and open the bottom left drawer, the place where I practice keeping all my miscellaneous copies and would-be tax forms. It was a yellow folder, I'm sure of it. There it is. I know depression isn't logical. Nothing about this is logical. But that doesn't mean I should give up on showing him what's real. I can't force you to find any meaning in all this. But those forms you mentioned, the ones from the student council, I didn't trust anybody else with a jaw that big. So I placed it upon myself to tally all the votes. There were a lot, though, so I ended up taking the bulk of them home so I could finish up at my leisure. The votes were supposed to be completely anonymous unless you had any dietary restrictions you wanted the council to know about. If that were the case, then you could sign your name at the bottom and request a specific kind of meal for yourself, instead of just voting for subs or pizza. So what? So, Violet was a vegetarian. I pulled a sheet of paper from the back of the folder and hand it to Oliver. Here's how she voted. If you want to blame yourself for her death, then I can't stop you from thinking that way. But I don't think that's reality. He grabs the form and starts scanning it. She voted to have it at the school. She voted just like I did. It's because she hated the beach, Oliver. Of course she'd vote that way. You're right. Location for graduation was ultimately decided by one vote. So, going by your logic, every student that voted the same way you did is equally responsible. Including Violet herself. That's not true. That can't be true. It's not Violet's fault. Of course it's not. Nobody planned for that to happen to her. I understand wanting someone to blame for all this, but that's not how the world works. Sometimes there's no one to blame. Sometimes life is just chaotic and inconsistent and cold. But you're still warm. You still have control. You get to decide what details have meaning and which are frivolous. And so do I. Which is why you don't get to decide if you're important to me or not. One moment. I'm back. Apologize for the noise, and yes, I know everyone's probably typing in the comments how lame it is that I'm feeling emotional and like teary-eyed and having to blow my nose over this. I wouldn't say I'm crying, but I do have tears coming out of my eyes, so we'll just say I'm complimenting the author. That being said, yeah, I know that sounds really lame. Then again, it's a good story, though there are paths we did not take. I love you so much, Oliver. And you don't get to say that I shouldn't. I get to choose what matters to me. And so do you. I'm not trying to get you to think the way I do, but I at least want you to know how I feel. To me, you're not some selfish monster, but you're not powerless either, and you won't ever be worthless. There's no such thing as a worthless human being. Oliver looks down at the bottom of the form. That's her handwriting. She asked if she could eat black bean burgers instead of pizza. She asked if she could make some and bring them to the event. What a dork. What a freaking dork. He places the form behind him on the bed. How did you vote then? I'm curious. I voted for the beach. I wanted to go swimming afterward for old time's sake. Is that the truth? It is. Did you hate her then? What? Did you hate Violet? I'm leaving either way, so you may as well be real with me, right? No, I couldn't hate her, not after seeing how happy the two of you were. I just want the people I love to be happy, that's all. I thought giving you some space would help with that. But I guess that's just another thing I don't have any control over. Oliver scoots a little bit closer to me before lifting himself off the bed. Well, then it's not your fault either, right? He walks over to Andy's desk and grabs a small white bottle. Can I ask you one last thing then? Something I need you to be honest about? Of course, but I get one more question too, same rules. Is that okay with you? That's only fair, I guess. He falls backward on the bed and stares up at the ceiling. So when you said that you love me just now, I can feel my skin begin to shiver. It means what you think it means, yes. But does that mean you need me? That's all I want to know. Don't worry about trying to make me happy. Whatever I end up feeling is ultimately my responsibility. Just please, be honest. And I promise I'll be honest with you. I don't know what to say here. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be able to tell if I was lying, but that doesn't matter, because I don't know what kind of answer will actually make him happy. In that case, I only have one choice. No, I don't need you. In the grand scheme of things, I don't need you to stay here with me. But is that really so awful? Think of all the things in your life that you actually need. Boring water, boring food, boring medicine. The boring, oppressive sun that you can't even admire without burning your eyes into blindness. You might need those things to keep breathing, but that doesn't mean they make you feel alive. Is that what you really want to be, Oliver? Because to me, you're more like the moon. Something beautiful I want to look at every night before I go to bed. You have phases. You're consistently inconsistent. You're radiant. I don't need you, but that doesn't mean I don't want you. I really, really want you. And isn't that just better? I open my eyes and realize my skin is burning in embarrassment. Even so, I keep my face locked on his, if only for him to see that this is really, truly how I feel. You're right, Judy. You're right. It is better that way. So, you don't need me then? Good. That's good. Now the two of us are free to, well, now we're free. Not so fast. Now it's your turn to be so embarrassed that your skin feels like it's melting off your body. Of course. I'll honor our agreement to ask away. Do you feel the same way? I know it's been an awful morning, but you don't have a phone. Once you leave town, that might be it for me. I might never know for sure what was real for us and what wasn't. So, do you love me, Oliver? Don't worry about trying to make me happy. Whatever I end up feeling is ultimately my burden. Please, just be honest. It's hard to ignore how the joy in his face just melted away as I asked him that. You're gonna have to forgive me, Judith. Oh no. I had a really bad night. I'm not exactly in the most romantic mood right now, so I can't promise I'll be able to put any of this as pleasantly as you did. But maybe I can make up for that by not holding anything back. I'm insanely attracted to you, Judith. I've always thought you were cute, but as we both got older, things started getting weird, embarrassingly weird. I don't want to get too into it, but it's like I woke up one day and suddenly all the things we used to do together were completely recontextualized. So that basically ruined any chance I ever had of viewing you platonically. You're a genius, not just with school stuff, but with people too. You can win anybody over, you're amazing at everything I suck at, and you've always been like that, consistently. You know how to survive, you know how to keep on burning. You're everything I could ever hope to be. And that scares me, you scare me. It scares me that I'm still attracted to you after everything that's happened this summer. It scares me that a relationship with you feels inevitable. I'm scared of how little I can offer when placed next to you. I'm scared that sometimes when I look at you, all I see is everything I lack. I accidentally skipped. I'm scared that I might be in love with someone that I'm only ever able to take from. Like I'll only be able to shine if I keep borrowing your light. I'd be lying if I said I didn't think romantically about you. But when I think of being romantic with you, I feel helpless. And maybe I won't feel like that forever, but right now I don't think that's what I need. Maybe that's why I'm so relieved you don't need me. You were right. When you need something, it's an unmovable part of your life. It's inevitable. But maybe we're not like that for each other at all. Maybe this is something we can end up choosing for ourselves. I can't promise you anything right now. I'm sorry. I love you, but you don't need me. All the tension leaves my body as I breathe out for what feels like the first time since Oliver started confessing. Okay. Okay? More than okay. If you want time, then that's nothing. You don't owe me anything, Oliver. I mean it. You give me so much just by being alive. So, it's only fair. And more than a few dirty dreams of my own. But he doesn't need to know that. Not yet, anyway. Just by being alive. His eyes are small white bottles in his hands. Do you mind if I flush these down your toilet? I'm not so sure I want to be caught carrying psychedelics onto a train. Don't need to risk giving my parents satisfaction either, you know. Psychedelics? Is that what you took last night? If so, that seems a little off. I can dump them out, don't worry. You do what you need to do. It's weird. I thought you'd try harder to keep me here after I told you all that. I thought you'd call the cops or an ambulance or something. I thought you'd be more scared. I never said I wasn't. I'd be stupid not to be scared. You still don't have a phone, so once you leave, that might be it. There's almost nothing I can do to help you anymore. Love or not, things were always going to end this way. He tosses me the bottle and begins walking towards the door. Out of curiosity, I pop open the lid and take a look inside. Wait, what? Oliver? Where did you get this from again? He pauses at the door and looks my way. I got it from Miss Lawrence. She sells the stuff to my folks, apparently. I got it from her last night. The front of the bottle says to take one before you go to bed. So I took two, just to be thorough. Nothing about this adds up, and the texture of these pills seems oddly familiar. Hey, Olive? Can I borrow you for a bit? There's something I want to confirm. Feeling a weird, optimistic burning in my gut, I take Oliver over to a workstation and flick on one of the microscopes. I open the top right drawer of the dresser and crack open my own personal bottle of melatonin. Give me a few minutes to prepare these slides. Oh, actually, could you get me the mortar and pestle from the kitchen? I need a... I actually don't know how to pronounce that. Triturate the samples? Okay. Oliver runs out of the room and I slide on my lab coat. If my hypothesis is correct, then that means I had you pegged all wrong, Judy Louise Lawrence. You got more of Violet in you than I thought. Okay. It takes about 20 minutes for me to compare the samples. I knew it. I knew it. I don't know if it's due to relief or sheer absurdity, but I start laughing. What? What's so funny? Oliver, this is melatonin. Miss Lawrence didn't give you psychedelics. She gave you a freaking sleeping aid. What? No, she didn't. I mean, are you sure? Here, take a look yourself. I have Olive look through the microscope on its own few times. As you can see, your sample matches the control perfectly. Soluble water is identical as well. Down to the core, they're both melatonin. Okay, then why did I react so badly to melatonin? But that doesn't make any sense. I woke up feeling like shit. You saw how it was. You've woken up like that before, though, right? Aren't intestinal problems common for people autism anyway? That's more for children, I think. Even so, it's possible your experiences were escalated by a placebo effect of sorts. If you thought you drugged yourself, then it stands to reason everything was way worse inside your head than it ever could have been in reality. I don't know what you dreamed about last night, but if it was bad enough to make you wake up vomiting, then it must have been a horrifying caricature of your actual life. It wasn't real then? No, it wasn't. It was a dream. There's no way it could have been. But that doesn't mean what you felt during it wasn't real. So you should give yourself that at the very least. Is this it? Am I finally breaking through to him? So basically, I was manipulated? Great. Oliver slides away from me and begins moving stuff into his luggage. That means there's only one other person left for me to say goodbye to. Can we stop by Violet's place on our way over by the train station? I need a second opinion before I leave. I need to hear her say it. You still want to go to college, then? I might as well. I need it good enough to writing fiction to finish the story anyway. College seems like a pretty decent way to make that happen. Not only that, but Violet didn't get to go. She didn't get to leave. So, yeah. Is that what you want, though? It's what I'm choosing, isn't it? So this is really it, then. Oliver flings the backpack over his shoulder and looks around my room. Thank you for letting me stay here, Judith. I know this wasn't exactly a great ending to our endless summer, but I'm glad I got to spend it with you. I'll try and find a way to give us both what we really want, okay? All I want is to get you where you need to be. I don't want anything else. This is enough. You being alive is enough. He frowns, moving past me on the way out the door. That's basically a lie, isn't it? He exits my room, flicking off the lights before I'm able to follow him out. I park in front of Violet's old house and hop out of the car. Should I come in with you? That'd be nice, yeah. Miss Lawrence sold the house last week, so I'm pretty sure she's still leaving for Denver. Plus, I'll be real, I have zero idea how this is going to turn out. But I always feel safer when you're around, Captain. Oh, don't call me that, Oliver. We're adults now. We're not out playing behind the church anymore. Doesn't change the fact that I always feel better having you on my team. Captain protects your crew, right? It's what I'm best at. I bet that gets hard after a while. It's easier than you think it'd be, Olive. Here, I'll show you. There she is. Big Mama herself. Isn't it like 12 in the afternoon? Why is she still in her PJs? Children, what a surprise. Today's the day, right? Is there something you need before you go? Can we come in for a bit? There's stuff I've got to talk to you about, if that's okay. Of course, there's something I need to give you anyway, but... She looks over to me, clearly irritated. Don't worry, we won't mind the mess. It's just been so long since I've had you kids over. It might not be like you remember. I've had time. I'm sure I can handle it. All right, of course you can. What was I thinking? Very well then, do as you wish. She moves away from the door and motions us inward. Oh wow. She wasn't kidding. I'd grown so used to Violet's gigantic, messy easel being the first thing I see when I come in here. But the house is spotless. There's nothing left of her here. She's really gone then, isn't she? I collapse onto a nearby couch with my left arm, scraping against a small pile of cardboard boxes as I do. Now dressed like something resembling an actual adult, Miss Lawrence creeps her way back into the living room. It's a little different without her art everywhere, I know. No, it's fine. You don't have to worry about acting all stoic, darling. It's tough. There is no good in pretending otherwise. Now then, what can I do to help you, college boy? There's some stuff I have to ask before heading out for good. Is this about Violet? In a way, yeah. Do you have a minute? For you, my star pupil, yes, I have a minute. Do you mind if we talk in private, then? I don't mind, but does she? Miss Lawrence looks at me with a hard, unwavering gaze. I'm fine waiting out here, don't mind me. Naturally. She slithers away from Oliver and makes her way toward the back of the house, into her bedroom. You want to talk to her alone? It's the tactical way to approach this, right? She'll be more comfortable if it's just me. And more comfort means more info. Sounds like something I would say. I'm not too sure how I feel about that. Fair enough. Where does that leave me, though? Isn't there more I can do? Oliver glides over to me and brings his lips to my ear. There is a hole in the wall, right behind the curtain. A peephole. I'm not sure if it's gone now, but if it's not, well, even if you don't think I owe you anything, I still want you in my life. You deserve to be a part of this. He makes his way past me into the cougar's crusty den. And so, I do what any sensible person would do and sneak a peek behind the curtain. Seeing Oliver in a room with her like this sends the illogical part of my brain into a tailspin. Why did he call it a peephole? She does look a lot like Violet does, after all. At least before she dyed her hair purple. No, I can't let myself think like this anymore. As bad as she is not that evil, right? Miss Lawrence struts over to a small table and starts pouring herself a glass of wine. I'm certain that I already know your answer. But would you like anything to drink? I'll have the usual, if you still got any. Oliver, no! I should. Hell, knows I don't drink the stuff myself. Miss Lawrence gets on her knees and fishes for something underneath her bed. My fists instinctively begin to curl. Oh, it's just a bottle of ginger beer. Even if it wasn't, I suppose it would have been a tad hypocritical if I got mad at him for drinking at this age. What are the chances? Oh, please, you know I always keep a spare bottle or two just in case. Big Mama twists off the bottle cap like she's breaking the neck of a chicken. She then places the drink softly in Oliver's hands and moves on to her bed. What's been troubling you, my dear? Lots of things, but I'll try not to waste your time. We've got all kinds of time, Oliver. Don't censor yourself on my behalf. Cool. What kind of drugs do you sell to my mom, then? He doesn't hesitate for a second. I don't know if this is the fearlessness he got from our talk or comfort or having so many speech therapy sessions with her over the years. But there's real conviction in his voice now. You want to know that badly? Don't I have a right to? This is the sort of thing you can just unlearn. Oliver, it's kind of an info hazard. Most of the things worth knowing are. Please, tell me. I can take it. Miss Lawrence takes a measured sip from her wine glass. And there's no chance you're telling Dolly any of this, correct? Not for all the tea in France. I would just like to preface this by reminding you that she's a very, very stupid woman. The name of her is fitting because she really is about as perceptive as the average sheep. It's a miracle you turned out as well as you did, considering half of your genes come from her. And, yeah, the other half. So, I hope that helps you understand where I'm coming from a little bit more. He nods. Miss Lawrence takes a swig of her wine glass and lets out a frustrated sigh. They're just THC pills, glorified pot brownies distilled into a discreet little capsule. That and a couple bags of grass clippings every now and then. Basic shit, really. Dolly wanted to field test some low-grade mescaline her dumbass support group told her about because she thought it would help you somehow. So I thought, oh, you're trying to cure your son again. Guess who's buying a placebo? And that worked. Dolly used to buy oregano for me back in high school for $50 a bag and then get high after smoking it. She's just a very stupid person, sweetheart. But she's still my friend, poor girl. Probably would have gotten herself arrested if she got her hands on the real stuff at that young. Please try and understand. So it's not something like DMT, then? DMT? What? You think I'd sell her that crap? Goodness, I'm not that hardcore, just a little weed and such to fluff up Violet's college fund a bit. Where did you even hear such a thing? Let's just say it came to me in a dream. Is that so?
Miss Lawrence looks my way for a second. Oh. I instinctively turn away from the hole and close my eyes. Crap, 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 did she see me? Must have been one detailed dream you had there, Oliver. Well, melatonin gives me pretty vivid nightmares, so that would make sense. Oh. Yep, this is definitely over. She's totally cornered. Good job, Olive. Do you think I'm an idiot? Do you think I wouldn't notice something was wrong? Why did you do it? Why did you lie to me? You lie to protect something, Oliver. There's never any other reason to do so. Did you think frying your mind with drugs would be a painless way to kill yourself? Is that it? Death is always painful, even if you're just shamelessly passing the pain on to someone else. So don't ask questions you already know the answer to. Miss Lawrence begins sobbing into the flesh of her palm. Tell me, what was your plan B? Drowning? Was that it? Driven to madness, like Hamlet's Ophelia? Ever wonder why she always dies off screen? There's nothing romantic about having your synapses pop one by one. And no amount of water could ever clean the image of you, your bloated, pale body from my mind. Is that what you want to leave behind? Is that what you want your legacy to be? Just another child of mine that I have to bury. Why did I lie? All I wanted was to give you a chance to truly succeed, to reach these sorts of conclusions yourself, to grow. That's why I lie. That's why all teachers lie. We play whatever part we need to in order to protect your ability to learn. But you can't learn a damn thing if that mind of yours is lost forever. Miss Lawrence moves over to her dresser and starts rummaging through it. How did you know? I was thinking about drowning myself. A mother knows these things, Oliver. Trust the myths about a mother's knowledge. They came into existence for a reason. She turns her back to me and pulls something out of her dresser. But no matter what angle I look at from, I can't make out what exactly it is. You did the right thing by talking to me about this, Oliver. To choose silence when you have something that weighs heavily on your soul is to give up on yourself completely. Yeah, I took a screenshot. You know how to use that voice of yours to its full potential, though. You know how to self-advocate. I have nothing left to teach you. She motions Oliver over and slides something into his pocket. He smiles, a single wet tear rolling down the side of his face. Even so, keep in touch with me, okay? Both of you. Both of us? Something's changed between you and that Judith girl, yes? Again, a mother knows these things. Oliver finishes off his ginger beer and tosses the bottle in a nearby wastebasket. And you're not mad? I'm more worried than anything. Just don't drink up everything she puts in front of you without thinking about it, and you'll be fine. No, I mean, you're not mad about me leaving Violet? You don't think I'm forgetting about her? You and I both know she isn't the type of person to leave someone's head that easy, Oliver. Y'all did everything you could for her. None of you should have to live your life in grief. Besides, she wasn't the most traditional individual. I'm sure if Violet got her way, I would have had to accept both you and Judith as part of my family someday, if you catch my drift. I wouldn't bet on that. I hear the door to the bedroom swing open. Knowing how close the rooms are together, I hop off the floor as fast as I can. The two of them seem calm as can be. Sorry about the wait. I think we're good now, though, right? I'm fine if you are. Unless you're heading off to go hash things out with Dolly and your father.
In which case, I may have one or two more things I'd like to run by you, just to be safe. No, I think I'm all good there. They have my mailing address and stuff, but I made sure that's all they have. I've got nothing I need to say to them anyway. Good. There's no shame in avoiding pointless battles. Besides, you're a free man now. You don't have to do things their way anymore. Now then. Miss Lawrence leans in and gives Oliver a firm-looking yet brief hug. Take care out there in the real world, Oliver. Next time. Don't be such a stranger, okay? Okay, I'm sorry. Don't be. Just trust yourself. And do your best. That's all I ask. Goodbye now, and good luck. Oliver smiles, giving Miss Lawrence one of his signature thumbs up before sauntering out the door. I am left alone with her, still unsure of what to make of everything I saw. Walls exist for a reason, you know. You take all the walls out of a house, it's not really a house anymore, you can't live there. So in a way, we need those kinds of walls to keep ourselves safe, do we not? I have no clue what you're talking about. Did you spend the past few minutes talking to Oliver about walls? Is that it? Fine, I guess I'll get straight to the point then. Are you a good bitch or a bad bitch? What? Me? Well, I'm not a bitch at all, thank you very much. I don't mean to insult you. Bitches get shit done, after all. What I'm asking is this. Are you willing to do everything you need to do in order to keep the people in your life safe? Not just Oliver, but your friends too, your children, your children's children. Are you willing to play whatever role is needed to put up whatever wall needs to be put up in order to secure their futures, even if it means being hated? Or are you just scared to lose this cozy little life of yours? I see. There really is something seriously wrong with this lady. Still, I guess I lose nothing by humoring her. Yes, I'll do whatever it takes. Oh, will you now? I'll do what it takes, but only if necessary. I don't know what kind of person that makes me in your eyes, but I don't care. We're not kids you knew back when Violet died. We're adults. So neither of us needs your approval anymore. Good answer. Still, you should know it's impossible to fully grasp how another person really feels, unless you've experienced something similar yourself. I'm going to be working at NASA. What normal people consider impossible doesn't really interest me. Oh, that's just perfect. I'm sure you'll be able to handle whatever the universe throws at you then. Without question. Very well then. Let's put that faith of yours to the test. Go on now. You're making him wait. Miss Lawrence motions to the door, smug as smug can be. As much as this feels like her wanting me out of the house, I can't help but feel like I passed one final, bizarre test of hers. Either way, it doesn't really matter. We're moving on regardless. I'll go do that then. Goodbye, I guess. Goodbye? Me moving away doesn't mean I'll disappear from your life, Princess. We'll be in touch. There's no need to say goodbye yet. I'll see you soon. I start the car in front of Violet's house one last time. This is really it, isn't it? Goodbye, Violet. Thank you. I look over at Oliver. You ready to get out of here, Oliver? Not even remotely. But, sure. Let's go. Any other stops we need to make? Anything else you need to tell me before I take you there? Only that this didn't go nearly as bad as I thought it would. In my head, it was way worse. She blamed me more, she hated me more. Everybody did. Guess that's why it's good to get a second opinion. Or maybe even a third, fourth, and fifth opinion. But yeah, that's it. That's all I've got to say. We can go now. I see. I close my eyes and grip the sides of the steering wheel. In that case, there's one more thing I need to ask you. The next time you're down here, do you think we could... Could we... My phone starts buzzing. Hold that thought, okay? I reach down and pull up my phone. Yep, one new message. But this is... No way. You know, Judy, if you're having trouble saying what you're thinking, this message is from Violet's phone. You can always write it down for me. You acquired Oliver's phone number. Again, the music definitely sounds like Black Sabbath, and that's a compliment. Yes, I did take the time to read all that out. Though if I had read it out loud, I don't think I would have finished it in time. But there's a part of me that's always going to fear. Losing the people I love. It's hard for Skip reach the end of Judah's journey to experience a true ending. I guess, thankfully, Oliver's not the type to hold a grudge. And even if he is, I think it's more than enough that he decided not to cut us off completely, that he didn't drift off away like Miss Lawrence said he wanted to. I think that's more than enough. Eventually, after a few years long distance, we did move up to Asheville, to a little place right outside of the campus. Him and I take walks around there every now and then, breathing in the fresh mountain air and exploring its pastures. One day, when I finally got a job working at Cape, we'll likely move back down to Siren's Call. But that day will come in its own terms. It'll be something both of us want. And I won't force him to stay with me if he doesn't want to. For now, though, we do agree on one thing about this place. It feels like heaven. True ending. Scene select mode. Save files no longer erased at the end of each category. Finishing touches 1 through 8 are now unlocked. Violet's ending has been unlocked in the finishing touches. Which I assume is a path where she doesn't die. Time limit, a place where all pieces come together. Now that the one ending, the main story has been complete, several points of interest have been unlocked. Hovering over these points will show you exactly where you just read fits the story as a whole. There's still much more to see though. Reading both endings and finishing touches updates the timeline even more. Oliver's journal can also be completed via main story for even more info. This timeline can now be accessed from the main menu. We have %87.9%. Do I need to make a save? Developer note. Final page Remel. Oh, hello there. I guess you found where I was hiding then. I absolutely love leaving things for people to find, as you can probably tell at this point. Sorry to advance this isn't something more interesting. I know a dev note probably isn't as appealing as sending more time with Violet on the beach, but someone's got to keep this sand warm, right? Plus, I like to think that she's doing much better than she was while she was here. I like to think she was happy. I've got a couple things to say here, but the main one is just thank you. Thank you so much for giving this little visual novel of ours a chance. Even getting to this point at all means the world to me. I hope Oliver's story was a cathartic one for you. I hope you enjoyed watching him and Judith grow up. I know this wasn't exactly the indie horror visual novel everybody probably wanted, but what it lacked scares, I hope it made for in sincerity. Not everybody is going to be scared of the same things I am, but I figured if I wrote the game this way, it would at least be read as honest. And I'm a big fan of honesty. I think at the core of every fear there is a glimmer of honesty. So let's talk about that fear for a bit, shall we? Like essentially everything you've probably read while playing this game, Sirens calls itself based off something very real. My hometown of New Smyrna Beach, Florida. It's the shark bite capital of the world, but even so, people from all over here call thousands just swim the ocean. Seems crazy, but I think people really love the tension the title Shark Bite Capital of the World brings. They like the idea of seeing something dangerous in the water. To some degree, they love the fear, especially if they can see it from the safety of the shoreline. The ocean never really scared me, though. This is mostly just because you get numb to sharks after seeing them enough out of the line. Seriously, people can adapt to anything. But also because things are so simple in the ocean. If you don't swim, you drown. And if you stay in there long enough, you eventually something is going to see you as food. It's morbid, but simple. And if something is simple and predictable, it doesn't really scare me that much. In my opinion, people are the opposite of this idea. Unlike sharks in the ocean, people aren't even remotely simple. Maybe they are simple for neurotypicals, but there is no way for me to know that for certain. Early on in life, there was never a way for me to know what people were going to say or do. Because of this, I didn't start speaking to people outside of my family until I was around 13 years old. This is a sadly common pattern for a lot of low-functioning kids on the spectrum. In my head, it played out like this. Your friend that sits next to you in class could easily be your worst bully the next day. And oftentimes, or at least, that ended up being the case. Anybody could be a shark if you weren't in the ocean. And I never knew when I was going to get bit. This is probably why games like Silent Hill 2 and Higurashi appeal to me so much, both as a scared kid and as a much more confident adult. I adore games that hone in on just how unpredictable people can be. It's a very honest kind of fear. We all want people we can be comfortable around. We all want the safety that a good friend brings. But we don't always get it, autism spectrum disorder or not. Thankfully, I did eventually meet somebody who wasn't a shark in any respect, a guy by the name of Corey. Corey was and is a complete genius with a fantastic laugh and a great sense of humor to go with it. I won't go into details about how we met, but to this day he is my closest friend, both in the world of video game development and in life. If Siren's Call is a story pulled straight from my own fears and experiences, then its structure is pulled straight from the framework of Corey's playful and sharp mind. Truly, his game-designed sensibilities are second to none. Trust me, Siren's Call would have been an incoherent mess of a game without his guidance acting as the perfect funnel for my own fears. As is often the case, one friend tends to lead into another. And this is going to sound kind of cold, but friends make amazing visual novel characters. Character writing 101 is honesty. Just steal as much cool shit from your friend's personality as humanly possible. You'd be amazed how far that can get you. Experiences both amazing and horrible with your amigos make for great banter, I promise. And that is the root of it all, isn't it? At the end of the day, without my friends, I would have never had the confidence needed to get what all writers truly need, life experience. I would have just stayed a scared little kid forever. I would have never moved forward. But then, after getting those friends you've wanted for so long, your fear of people evolves into something much worse, doesn't it? Now that you have people in your life, all that's left is to lose them. Now you know the loneliness that is waiting for you if they ever leave. You know how bad things can get. And that fear, more than anything, is the root of Siren's Call. That selfish, visceral fear is why this game exists. That fear is everything. But if there is one thing that I learned from Silent Hill, it's that you gotta keep jumping into that hole. If you're afraid, you keep moving forward. Game development is like that in many ways. Lots of dark holes you need to jump into. So if you're thinking about making a game, make it easy as possible for yourself. If you're writing a story and you've got fears, use them. If you got cool friends, steal their personalities for your characters. Shit is hard enough already, so use what you know is real, and keep pushing forward. I don't know what the next game I make will look like, or if I'll be lucky enough to have the time and money to make another one. What I do know is I've got lots more I'm afraid of, so I hope you're ready if I ever get lucky enough to make more of these. After all, this game was just junk from when I was 18. Just wait till you see what I've been cooking up in my brain after entering the adult world. It's delicious. Until then, stay cool, you cool person, you. Be excellent to each other, and read more visual novels. Soundless is a damn good one. Higurashi is amazing. Totino is peak. Love is insane. And you are amazing. I'll see you soon. Everyone's like, what are you doing? Going on to Steam and I'm typing in the word soundless. Oh, Steam's having a visual novel fest. That's... What was it called again? Soundless. Okay, not on Steam. Everyone's like, what are you doing? I'm scrolling through to see what's new on Steam. Some game called Henpri just came out. Put it on wish list, I'll look at it later. And like I said, Ever 17 is supposed to come out in a few days. You know, it's technically a re-release of a 2002 game. Everyone's like, there's so many games you need to finish. I know. Jacob.